This touch sensor right here will allow you to no longer need to use buttons in your Arduino projects and also take your projects to the next level. And so in this video, I'll be showing you why this sensor is much better than buttons, and then I'll be showing you what each pin does on the touch sensor, and then I'll be showing you how to connect these pins to the Arduino, and then I'll be showing you the code it takes to get this touch sensor working with the Arduino. So without further ado, let's get started. So here is the touch sensor right here, and as you can see, we have 3 pins. The first pin right here, this pin is responsible to provide negative power to the sensor. Then we have the middle pin right here, which is called VCC. This pin is responsible to provide positive 5 volts to the sensor. Then the last pin right here is the SIG pin. This pin gives us either a high or low signal depending on if we are touching the sensor. So it's going to give us high signal when we are touching the sensor, and it's going to give us a low signal when we're not. And so those are the pins that are on the touch sensor. And so now we're going to the next phase, which is creating the circuit. But first I want to go ahead and explain what this circuit or this project is doing. And so basically what this project is doing is going to be using the touch sensor. And when we touch this touch sensor, the LED will brighten up. And we can stop brightening LED and the LED will stay at that brightness, so we can adjust the brightness however we like it. But let's say now we want to dim the LED. We can reverse the direction on how, if we're brightening or dimming the LED by pressing the touch sensor 2 times quickly. That will tell the Arduino that we now want to dim the LED. So with that, we can dim and brighten the LED of however, and we can control the brightness of the LED with just using one touch sensor. So basically this is the circuit that we are going to be making for that project. And so the first pin right here on the touch sensor, GND, will be connected to the GND pin on the Arduino. And then we have the VCC pin on the touch sensor, and this will be going to pin 5 on the Arduino. Then we have SIG pin. This pin would be connected to pin 12 on the Arduino. So then we can go ahead and connect up the LED. The other side of the LED will be connected to a 330 ohm resistor. Now this resistor can be anywhere between 200 ohms up to 470 ohms will be good. And the other side of this resistor will be connected to pin 11. Just note that if you want to move this pin number or connect it to a different pin, it has to be a pin with PWM. And you can see that based on the squigglies right here next to the numbers of the pins that have PWM on them. And so then the cathode side of the LED will be connected to GND on the Arduino. Okay, so that is the circuit. So you can go ahead and connect this up, and that's what I'm going to go ahead and do now. And so now So now here is the code for the project. The first thing we go ahead and do is we defined 2 pins. The first pin is the read pin. The pin number we will be putting into this variable, which is pin 12, is connected to the touch sensor. And so we'll be reading from this pin. Then we'll go ahead and put pin 11, which is the pin that is connected to the anode side of the LED, and we'll put it into LED pin variable. Then we have some variables here. We have the first variable is val. This will be holding the raw value that we get from the touch sensor. Then we have a brightness val. It's already equal to 1. So basically this variable will be equal to how bright we want the LED to be. This value will be anywhere in between 0 to 255. So by default, actually we have the LED a little bit bright for the first time, right when we started, and then you can go ahead and adjust it however you want. Then we have a brightness direction. This variable holds a positive or negative 1 depending on if we are brightening or dimming the LED. If we are brightening the LED, then that means we have a positive 1 in the variable. If we are dimming the LED, then that means we have a negative 1 in this variable. Then we have the unsigned long, and this is called last time. This variable will be holding the time in milliseconds of the last time we touched the touch sensor. Then we go ahead and go into the void setup, and we go ahead and set read pin to an input and LED pin to an output. That's all we do into the void setup. Now we go into the void loop, and we go ahead and read from the touch sensor. That's what we do here. We'll go ahead and do digital read pin, and we put that value into val. So now we need to go ahead and check if we should be brightening the LED, and that's what this if statement does right here. So now there's a couple cases on when we need to brighten the LED. The first case is if val is equal to 1. If val is equal to 1, which also 1 can be the same as true, so basically this statement is true if it's equal to 1. So overall we're saying if val is equal to 1, they come into this if statement. So it can't be equal to 0 when it comes to this statement. It has to be equal to 1, which means we are currently pressing the touch sensor. But there are other cases that we also come into play as well, and that's why we have AND. These things as well have to be true, which brightness value must be less than 255. If it is equal to 255, it will not come into this if statement, because 255 is the maximum brightness we can put an LED on with PWM. This number can't go any higher. And this must be true as well, which is brightness direction equals 1. If brightness direction equals 1, that means we want to brighten up the LED, okay? And so that's why we would be allowed to come into this statement if brightness direction is equal to 1. So all these cases right here have to be true. If they all, then we can come into this statement and we can increment brightness value. And so then that's all we do here. And so then we go to the next if statement. This if statement is for dimming the LED. And so the first thing we do is we check again if the value is equal to 1, because we also need to be touching the touch sensor to also dim the LED as well. And if brightness val is greater than 0, because if it's not greater than 0, if it's like equal to 0, we don't want to continue decreasing that number. And we make sure that brightness direction is equal to -1, which means we want to dim the LED. If all these cases are true, then we go ahead and decrease brightness val. So then the next part here is we need to figure out whenever we want to change the direction, if we want to brighten or dim the LED. So how we do that is we go ahead and do if val, which means if we are pressing the touch sensor, then come into this if statement. This if statement contains this code right here, which the first code right here is basically determining if we wanted to switch the direction that we are going on our LED. And so how we do this is we just do brackets right here. So we have this bracket, so the Arduino knows that it should calculate up this first, which is last time minus millis. So basically, we are going to take the last time that we were touching the touch sensor, and we would take that time away from millis, which is the current time. And so that will give us how long we haven't been pressing the touch sensor. And if that is less than 400, then we want to come into this statement. But we also have an AND, so this statement also has to be true as well. Last time minus millis is greater than 50. And so the time that we haven't been touching the touch sensor has to be in between 50 milliseconds to 400 milliseconds. If it's not in between that range, then it will not come into the if statement. But if it is, then it will come into the if statement and change the direction, which we do right here. We basically do brightness direction equals brightness direction times -1. This always swaps the 1 to the opposite polarity, which is -1 or +1. Then we just basically come out of this if statement right here, and we do last time equals millis. Basically to update millis every single time we touch the touch sensor, because we come into this if statement every single time we touch the touch sensor. And so then we come out of this if statement and we go ahead and do analog write LED pin brightness val. So we just literally give analog write the brightness val that we've gotten up here, and we just give it and it puts it on the LED. And so basically that is the code. So now we go ahead and see this project in action. Okay, so now here is the project. As you can see, we have our touch sensor right here and our LED, which is slightly on right here. If we go ahead and touch this touch sensor just a little bit, it brightens up. As you can see, we can go ahead and continue pressing it, and it gets brighter and brighter. And so now all we have to do is, if we want to dim it, we just tap it 2 times, 1, 2, and it starts dimming down. The sensor is extremely sensitive, so it's really simple to do this. It's not that difficult, and you just tap it again to brighten back up. As you can see, brighten up. And if you want, you can go ahead and get a piece of plastic or something, and you can put it over the sensor like this. You have to make sure it's nice and flat, and go ahead and tap it. And as you can see, the LED gets dimmer, and we can brighten back up. We get dimmer, and we brighten back up. Like that, and we can have it get dimmer again. Stop. So you don't even have to see this component even in your projects. You can cover it up with something as well. Anyways, if you like this video, guys, consider giving this video a like. Also, comment down below if you have any questions, and consider subscribing if you want to see more content like this. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Bye.